So today we are with my sister, Marie-Therese, or MT. She's a senior strategy consultant at a biopharma consulting firm, and today we're going to help her create her own market research AI agent.
Hi, Karim. It's nice to see you, and I'm looking forward for the session.
Let's do it. All right, so we're gonna divide this video into three steps. First, MT is going to explain how she does market research, the first part of market research for the purpose of keeping this video short. Then we're going to show her how to use Cloud Code to create an AI agent that will do that step of market research. And at the end, we're going to let the AI agent execute the full workflow almost fully autonomously. Sounds good?
Sounds good. Let's kick it off.
All right. So first step, I want you to explain to me and to us what problem you actually solve when a client comes to you and you need to do market research for them.
Yeah, certainly. So usually market research is part of a bigger strategic engagement that the client would come to us to. But most often, as a first step, you want to understand who your competitors are. You want to understand what the market landscape looks like. You want to understand where it's going in the future. So there is always some aspect of market research that needs to be done at the beginning that we need to undertake. And as you can expect, it's very laborious. You have to do a lot of different steps, different websites, and a lot of things you have to check before you can create something that is solid for the client. So that is basically the first part that we do, and we do it as part of a bigger strategic engagement. So I'm curious to see how we can automate it a little bit more today, so it's less of quite a big thing and it's more time saving, and it can help us get faster there.
Sure. I mean, that was a proper consultant answer. But to keep it simpler to the audience, I want you to give me one example. You can just create a fictitious one, so you don't say anything confidential. And just tell me again, in simpler terms, what the problem is and what you're actually trying to solve.
So let's say, for example, the problem is our clients have competitors who are launching, let's say, a drug before them, and they are trying to understand what is the best go-to market strategy is for their own drug, considering what their competitors are doing. So we need to do market research to understand what the competitors are doing, to understand where they might go in the future, so we can help feed our clients' go-to market strategy. Is that
Awesome.
simpler?
Perfect. Love it. Let's go for it. So now that we know like the, let's say, overall problem and that we're trying to solve, we're only gonna tackle the first part of market research again for this video. What are the main steps you would say that you do usually in market research? And again, let's do it as an example so that it's easy to follow as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
give me an example and show me the steps just like that, yeah.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, again, we're looking to understand one competitor for our client, and we want to understand what they have in development in terms of drugs in development, but also what they have on the market, and what the strategy is for their product. So what I would do is I would go on the company's website. I would look at their pipeline, so drugs in development. I would look at already approved drugs, and I would look at quarterly reports. So you would go and you would check any investor material, whether it is the quarterly reports or any basically involvement and presentations they had in congresses and events where the CEO is speaking or the chief research officer or anything like that. So we get a better idea of how they're talking about their products and where they might be going. So I would go on usually the company's website and really go into all these different links within the company's website. And then in terms of drugs in development, you want to look at the actual, how they're being developed. So you would go on, for example, a website called clinicaltrials.gov, where you get an overview of the clinical trials that are ongoing. So
Yeah.
that's another website that I would use. And then any publications that they have that they've made for their drug. So usually publication, it could be PubMed, where you would go and you would search if there has been any publications regarding the drug, so you better understand its efficacy and safety profile, so it feeds into your understanding of the competitor. So
Got it.
the company's website, clinicaltrial.gov, and usually PubMed are key and top links where I would go to search.
Got it. No, that makes perfect sense. So the reason why I was asking you that question is because now, as you start to code, quote unquote code, you're not doing any coding, but create your AI agent, you're gonna have to explain those steps, and that AI agent will do it for you. So let's do that. Let's first go into Cloud Code. And to do this, I'm gonna ask you to open VS Code. So let me give you access. So MT just opened VS Code now. By the way, I had to download VS Code before the meeting, before this call, so that we can speed this up. But let me explain to you quickly what VS Code is. So I used to be a software engineer, and we used to use VS Code to create any code we want. But these days, you can use also VS Code. The way you want to think about it is think about PowerPoint or Excel. So it's a tool to help you do something. Here, we're using VS Code to connect with Cloud Code so that we can create AI agents. So we don't actually need to do any coding when we are creating AI agents. So MT also created a folder on her computer, and she called it Market Research AI Agent, and she's gonna perfect. Yes. All right. So now you can see on the left-hand side, this is where all your files will show up. In the middle, we're going to be using Cloud Code, and then on the right, we can close that. So let me show you step by step what to do. First, before closing, click on the orange. Oh yeah, it's fine. You can click on the orange thing now, the Cloud icon. Yeah. And then close the welcome window. Yeah. All right. So on the left-hand side, we have the files. They're not there yet. And in the middle, this is where we're chatting with Claude. Now, I sent you also a file called claude.md. I want you to drag it to this area here, to your files area. So now MT dragged the claude.md file to VS Code. Let me explain what claude.md is. When you are chatting with Cloud Code, anytime it's going to answer you, it's going to start by reading that file. So the way you want to think about it is think about it as an onboarding document or a job description for someone to actually do their job. So we need to keep it as short as possible because it's going to read it every time. And we need to include all the most important things in it. So this one, by the way, I took it from Nate Herc, so shout out to Nate. And it goes over the WAT structure or architecture. So let me explain what it is, because that's going to also be very helpful for us later. So there are 3 layers: workflows, agents, and tools. That's a WAT architecture. For workflows, so when MT was saying that, okay, I have step 1 in market research, I do XYZ. Step 2, I do ABC. Step 3, that's a workflow. So that's a workflow. Agents, here, Cloud Code is the agent. So it's the actual person, quote unquote person, here, the AI agent that's actually executing those workflows using, as you can see, layer 3, the tools. So I want to keep it as simple as possible. You don't need to overthink it for now, but that's what it is. Now for Claude.md, it's not that we just create it once and that's it, we don't improve it. We're going to keep improving it and adding things to it. For the purpose of this video, we won't touch it again for now. So I want you to close.
By the way, before we move on, maybe if we can tell our whoever's watching us, if you want to have the Claude.md file, it's in the link below, correct?
If you need it, I'll keep it below in the description.
And should we also put below the VS
Code?
VS Code. Yeah. So you want to access it, link below.
All right. So now you can close Claude.md. All right. So now the project is not initialized yet. What I want you to say is type, "Hi Claude, initialize this project for me."
And what do you mean by initialize?
So the way that we've added Claude.md, it needs to create certain files and folders. So as it's doing it, I'm going to explain. By the way, you are in edit automatically mode, and I'll explain what the different modes are and which one you should select.
Here, yes.
Yeah. So now it's basically going to create different files. So as you can see on the top left, you have your .tmp, that's your temporary file. So what's the reason why it's creating this is any temporary tool or file it creates or that you're sending yourself, it's going to add them there. These aren't like files that you're going to always use. So for example, if we do market research for, let's say, Pfizer now, then whatever we do is going to remain in a temporary file because the AI agent won't always be doing market research for Pfizer unless it's a Pfizer market research. Then we move that somewhere else. Tools are the tools it's going to create to be able to, for example, it will need to create tools to be able to scrape different websites and take that information and then feed it to you in a certain way. These are tools. And then workflows are the step-by-step workflows that you're going to be creating. Don't click anything yet. I'm going to explain in a second.
Yeah, by mistake.
.dnv, yeah, .dnv is basically, so let me explain why we need it. So there are certain things that are very sensitive that you don't want to leave a trace for. So for example, an API key. What's an API key? An API key allows you to connect, let's say, Claude to an external tool. So for example, what we're going to use today is a tool called Firecrawl. It's going to help you scrape the data from all the different websites you need to scrape data from. And so the way Claude connects to Firecrawl is through that API key. The reason why that API key is sensitive because anyone uses it, anyone that has access to it can use it and basically drain your account. Let's say you have, I don't know, $200 in that account, they can drain it just by having access to that API key. So even when we show it now on the screen, we're gonna probably blur it out.
Sure.
So you keep it in the .env file. That way, even Claude cannot read it. It will just send it when it's executing the workflow, but it won't leave any trace. And git ignore, no need for you to understand it for now. We'll keep it for later. So here basically, so you are in edit automatically mode. So you're always going to have to say yes or no or allow. There is another mode called auto mode where Claude will basically determine if it needs to ask you for permission or not, depending on the task it's doing. Here it's basically just asking you to initialize a Git repo. Git repo is basically, think about it as your Google Drive or your Microsoft Cloud for adding your code. That's basically the way you want to think about it.
Okay.
So for now, just say yes.
Okay.
But I'm gonna keep it in edit automatically mode for now, just so you can see what it's asking you, and then later we can go into auto mode. Now, the first step is you want to go into plan mode before any of this. So I want you to click on edit automatically.
Sure.
And oh, by the way, you can see here you have effort. So here you are on max. Play with it a little bit so you can see the different effort. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
And then go to the maximum, which is not max, it's even more. Yeah. So that one you will rarely use it unless you're doing things like that are very heavy and you're building things. So for now, we can keep it if you want. Actually, let's go to extra high. Just let's save it so we can also keep things faster.
Okay.
And you can see auto mode here. So let's go into plan for now. Now, I don't use plan mode too much anymore because you will see the way it works. You're going to have to keep going back and forth, and then just at the end, it's going to give you a plan. Sometimes you might want a plan and then iterate and then give you, like, instead of having to wait the whole way through. But when you don't really know what you're doing yet because you're just starting, plan mode is the best way to learn. Later on, when you know what you want and what you're doing, you can go into auto mode directly and plan with it on the go.
So plan, if I'm trying to figure out how should the AI agent look like or what should I be working on, but then edit automatically if I already have a workflow map and I already have something and I just want like to create an AI agent, it's better to be into edit automatically. Is that correct?
Let me explain it even better for you. So now you're going to go into plan mode. Once the plan is done, automatically it's going to go into edit automatically to execute that plan.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But later on, you don't need to go into plan mode. You can just plan with it by speaking with it in the edit automatically mode. But for now, just stay in plan mode because it helps you think through the problem when you don't really know what you're doing because you're just starting with it. Okay. So plan mode, I want you to take your time and write in as much details as possible who you are, who you help, what you're trying to achieve, and I'm gonna guide you on how to prompt it based on what you're saying. Actually, before I forget, copy paste this somewhere. I just want you to send one more thing to Claude quickly, and then we're gonna go back to this.
Sure.
So go into edit automatically for a second. We're gonna add 2 instructions to your Claude.md file. So keep asking me questions. Add this to Claude.md file. Okay. Keep asking me questions until you're 95% or until you're 90% sure about what I need. And don't make any assumptions. No, it's basically just one sentence. No, it's fine, you can keep it. Perfect. So let's wait for it and then you can go back to what you were doing. So as you can see, it's now editing it. Okay, so now copy paste what you were writing and go back into plan mode. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it like what the comparator is and what actually what level of detail should I give in this prompt?
Write whatever you want. I'm reading as you're writing, and I'll coach you if you need to change anything.
Okay.
I also don't want to give you too much feedback because I want you to assume that you're working on your own, so that way next time when you do it, like you can
Yeah.
figure it out without, having someone to help you. And just a tip for you. So the way you're explaining it to Claude here, you want to think about it as if you're explaining this to a new hire that has never done market research before.
Yep.
Just hire
Yep.
them and you're helping them do it.
Yep. So for now I have this. I can of course give it like even more information on like what I want in terms of the slides. Like now I'm asking it what drugs they have in development, what is like
Yeah.
the company saying about them, any like publication on it. But technically, like I would want, for example, one slide that has like the pipeline, like the drugs in development and like the mechanism of action, so like how it works, which phase of development it is. Like there's a lot more details. Should I give it here or should I not?
Yes, and it's gonna ask you for those details anyways.
And if I
So
want like a PowerPoint, should I ask it to give me the output in PowerPoint?
yeah, you're gonna have to say all of that in the plan mode before it
Okay.
finalizes the plan.
Okay, so let me do that.
By the way, just before you continue,
Mm.
just feedback on what you wrote so far. So you kind of gave it a very specific example, which isn't bad. Now, you also want to tell it that this is only a specific example. So I want you to write this, by the way. This is only a specific example. What I want you to do is to build a market research AI agent that can do any market research I need based on some inputs I would give you initially. So you would need to build a reusable workflow and skills that you can use anytime for anything. Here, I'm just giving you an example so you know how it would look like in practice. Because you don't want it to build that workflow or that agent around that specific example. So the reason why you're saying that because we need to have like a templated, let's say, AI agent that can do anything. And then for the things that differ between each client and each market research, it's going to ask you questions so it can actually execute those. Now continue with what the final output should be, as you were saying. That's
Okay.
that's by the way very important. Like anytime you prompt AI, like if you're whether it's just a normal Claude chat or you're creating an AI agent, you always want to explain in as much detail as possible what the final output should look like because it can reverse engineer what it needs to do to get you there.
So that's what I put in terms of output. Anything else that I should keep editing?
Um, you only want slides, don't want any Excel file or Word doc with
No,
everything.
just PowerPoint. But I don't need one. So anything else that I should add here? I put the way I do it, what I want to do, and what I want the expected output to look like.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, especially for what you're doing, so you're asking it to go do research and give you information and synthesize that information. So it's very prone to hallucination. So what you want to do to combat this is you want it to give you a source for each piece of information it gives you, so that it cannot hallucinate. And you can check the source manually.
I found saying make sure to add the link to the source because sometimes I found with using Claude regular that it gives me like a source, but it's like a text, and I'm like, there's no link in there. So that's why I'm like, add the link.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. But also ask it to add it in a separate slide so it doesn't make the slide ugly and add everything in the same slides you want to present. All right.
Can we actually ask it to number the sources and like where, like,
Yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
say,
Yeah, yeah.
so instead of adding it to a separate slide, can we ask it like make sure
Yeah,
to
yeah.
link source,
Yeah.
make sure to number the sources and add the numbers to the texts. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure to number sources and add the numbers to the text. Okay, also write this. So I mean, now for me, I kind of know what it's gonna ask you next and where it's going. But let's say you're doing this and you don't really know. You wanna tell it that this is just what I have in mind. I might have missed a lot of steps. I might have not given you full context.
Mhm.
You might still need a lot of things from me. So you can do an autonomous AI agent that can execute this for any client, any market research.
I can do market.
That can do
Yeah.
it, yeah, for any client, that can do any market research for any client. Any type of market research for any client. Yeah. So I want you to keep asking me questions until you figure everything out you need to be able to build that agent.
Does that work?
Yeah, and then send.
Perfect. I'm looking
So now,
forward.
yeah, now we're gonna stay in plan mode. So we're gonna stay in plan mode until it gives you a final plan and you approve that plan. Yeah, you have a question.
Yep. So now I'm like seeing like all those tokens. So can you explain a little bit the token situation and how people are like using so much tokens that they're spending so much money on? Like, I'm still not getting the whole token story with Claude.
Yeah, so token is basically, think about it as characters. So just as a simple way, it's basically not exactly one-to-one, but just for you to have it in mind. So the window here in Cloud Code is 1 million tokens. So above 1 million tokens, you would have to start a new chat or compact the chat you have here. So the reason why people or companies you see they're spending a lot of tokens that they don't even know that's happening is not what you're doing here, because what you're doing here, you're connected to your cloud account. So if you're paying, let's say, $100 monthly, then it's gonna consume within that $100. But what happens with other companies is they connect to cloud via API. If you remember, I explained to you API is
Yep.
a way to communicate. And every message they send Cloud, everything Cloud does, it's consuming tokens. And every token has a specific price point associated to it. So whether it's $10 for every 100K tokens or $50 for every million tokens. So the more tokens you spend, meaning here, the more tokens it's gonna consume, the more the cost is gonna go up. Does that answer your question?
It does, but like, are these companies, do they not have like a set subscription with Claude that they're paying per month? Like, how does it consume where they suddenly like end up with, or maybe I'm mistaken, because
No, you're
I
not
read stuff
mistaken.
like companies spent are like on Claude super high because they spend so much on tokens. Like, don't they have like already known how much guys, I paid $20 for my
Yeah.
subscription, you know?
So they pay a minimum, but that minimum doesn't include their API cost. API cost is
Ah, I see.
basically on it is alone, is standalone. But what they should have is they should have limits on their spend and that alerts them. Let's say, okay, now they spent 10K, they spent 100K, but some companies don't, and that's when you see those headlines where they lost 50 million
But
for
then
tokens.
why wouldn't they just work like in cloud? Like why are they
No, when you go to
using
the enterprise
AI?
account and Teams accounts, you can just work into a normal
Ah,
cloud chat. Yeah, when you go into the bigger accounts, like the personal accounts, like the one you have now, yes, you can. But when you go into an enterprise account, it's all via API.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Should I just go with local PowerPoint file?
Yeah. So basically, the reason it asked you is because everything in the cloud.md file, we said everything should be on the drive. But for now, let's keep it simple. Let's do free for now.
But I'm curious. So let's say you have a paid transcript research platform. You're saying I can connect it to this?
You can connect Claude to those databases, but they need to give you a way to connect to them. Now, there's a way that you can, even if they don't give you a way to connect to them, you can use Claude Desktop, where basically you will teach Claude how you actually use that software, and it will basically use your mouse and your keyboard,
Oh,
if you know what I
interesting.
mean. But it's not like within what you're doing here. Here, the AI agent is doing it for you. So
Yeah.
if they have like an MCP, or if they have an API key you can connect to, or if they have a CLI. So these are the things you want to ask them for. So for example, I think you mentioned you use AlphaSense, right? So you
Hmm.
want to see if they have an MCP, and we can Google it if you want, or a CLI, or if they have any API key. If they have any of those, then you can use it with them.
But then I wonder, let's say I have transcripts from AlphaSense. Can I drop them in the market, like the folder here, where I tell Claude, like, yeah, do the public free sources, but also use those PDF that I just downloaded from AlphaSense. Can I do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do anything you want. Like you can program this to however way you want.
Okay. Let's go with public for now, because that's what I have.
Yeah,
But I do, but we're not gonna put it here for
yeah.
let it design.
But that's one thing you can do. So for example, if you want to teach Claude to do your own template, you can basically show it exactly how you do it. The first time is not going
Yeah.
to be perfect, but you can keep iterating, giving it feedback until it becomes 95% accurate. Then you know you
Mm.
can deploy it.
Okay, I see. Should we go with fully the draft review before final deck?
Yeah. So this is where, by the way you can create an AI agent, you can either create it as a fully autonomous AI agent, which I don't recommend,
Yeah.
or you can create it as a human in the loop agent. So it does the steps. So between each step, it's gonna ask you
Yeah.
for your opinion or feedback.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's much better.
Yeah.
Some out of scope. Usually I would specify it, but let's go with agent identifies. If in the future I want to change that, can I always do it? Like change,
100%.
yeah.
So
For
you
now,
basically just send it a message and then you'll tell it what you need to change.
so now I have the Claude.md that tells Claude Code how to work. When I have an agent, do I also have like a description of how the agent works that I can make edits to how it
Yes.
works?
So these would be in workflows and tools. So workflows would
Ah,
be
yeah.
the basically set of steps that the agent is executing, and the tools, it's the tools it's using to execute those steps.
Mm, mm.
So this is where you would see those files. And later on, like when your agent becomes a lot bigger and you have a lot of things that you're doing, you want to have like a reference file that references all those agents or subtasks, sub workflows, and have one line in Claude.md that references that file. That is the reference sheet. That
Mm.
way, everything is beautifully
Yeah. Yeah.
connected and it can find anything it needs quickly. Let's go into the video. So actually stop it for a second and I'll tell you why.
Mm.
I don't want it to just do its own web search. I want to give it an API key to Firecrawl. So Firecrawl will allow it to. So no, don't have to type anything here for now. So Firecrawl will basically scrape everything on the websites that it needs to scrape, and it will not miss anything. Because if it just does a web fetch or web search, it might miss certain data. But when it scrapes the full page, it won't miss anything. So let me give you an API key. We will hide it. And in the meantime, by the way, so you never want to paste it into a chat. So what you want to say, I'm just stopping you for a second. Just say that. So it knows that it has to continue later from where it stopped. I want to give you an API key for Firecrawl. Yeah, so that you can use it to scrape any web page. Don't send yet. Line for me in the .env file so that I can paste the API key there.
In the .env,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. You might have to go slightly into edit automatically mode, but let's see. Well, no, let's wait for it to see what it does. So basically, it can do it because we're still in plan mode. So once it finishes the plan, it will go into edit mode, and then we can add it. If you want, we can stop it, put it now, and then it continues, but it's fine. It's not, it's no biggie for now.
Should I keep it as this?
Yeah. But later we're gonna add it once it finishes the plan.
So if the people who are watching us want to get an API key, how do you get one?
Yeah, so specifically, they need to subscribe to Firecrawl. So let me see what the website actually is. I think it's firecrawl.dev. So I'm gonna write it here on the screen in the editing when we edit the video. And they just need to subscribe. I think there's a free tier, if I'm not mistaken. And they can just go there into the menu and get an API key. As simple
Okay,
as that.
perfect.
Yeah.
And so now is it like continuing to do the agent?
Here it's doing the plan to create the agent. It's not doing the agent
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But that's the most important part because once it has the plan, it will just execute it on its own later without you having to do anything or say anything.
And so if I want to put like any proprietary information, can I put it here or is it risky? Like, what's the risk level of putting any proprietary information here?
So your risk level is mainly who in Anthropic can see it and if you're okay with that. So that depends on your company and whatever.
Probably not.
Yeah. And anyone that would hack your account. So these are like the two risks.
Right.
So
So
usually you would have to go into an enterprise plan and you would speak with the sales team at Anthropic and you can basically choose whatever plan suits you so that you can have full confidentiality.
okay. Because I'm thinking, once if we have this on an enterprise level, it can be much more powerful if I can, give it many more documents because our clients usually send us a bunch of documents to create this, let's say situation analysis of what's happening in the market. Plus some of the things that I can download, let's say from AlphaSense or Data Monitor and what you do from, regular market research. So if I can bring in all of these data points into a secure, space and have it run this agent, it will be much more powerful than just relying on publicly available information.
Yeah, you can 1000% do it. It would just be a different plan that's definitely under your
Yeah.
company's name, not yours. and it would still be the same thing, same
I
thing you're
see.
doing here, but Claude isn't retaining any data and it's not sharing it with anyone.
Okay, I see.
Well, yeah, that's when you would fully unlock the potential because now it's like kind of helping you, not like fully
Mm.
um, doing something you need to do.
Yeah.
So here, I mean, let me show you like what it's doing. So for example, you can see what it's actually doing. So you can scroll up, down, you can see, for example, it's researching about Firecrawl now that you've asked about
Mm.
it. It's designing the market research agent architecture at the top. You can see it there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So like initially, I would highly advise you to watch it work because you would understand how it's thinking, what it's doing. And sometimes
Mm.
you might notice it's going down the wrong path. So you can
Mm.
just stop it and correct it.
Mm. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So if people when people say like they vibe coded an app, do they use this to create an app or how?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are different tools to that you can use to
Sure.
vibe code an app, but yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing now. You're vibe coding an agent.
Mm.
So vibe coding, you actually use your natural language to create an app, but Claude is gonna translate your natural language into actual code, and then that code will
Mm.
create the app.
Yeah, no, I see.
By the way, so sometimes, I mean, here you're creating something that you would eventually use all the time. Like it's a core service that you offer, it's a core task that you do that you can always reuse it. Sometimes you might not want to do this. Sometimes you want to have like a one-off AI agent. Let's say you have something that you don't really do always, but it's going to be a big task. You know, it's going to take maybe many hours. And usually you might do it, let's say once a year. Usually I would advise against it, but if building that AI agent takes 5 minutes and can save you 5 hours, then why not?
Mm, I
It's
see.
it's it's also knowing what to automate and what not to automate. I actually have a video about it. I just posted it a couple of days ago on YouTube. It's called the TIFDA framework. So because
Mm.
that's one thing that I'm noticing companies do as a mistake is they finish automating the core things they need to automate and then they start automating things that didn't even matter in the first place. So this is
Mm.
where you need to use strategy, which is your job, to determine what to automate and not to automate.
What's the TIFDA framework?
So it stands for TIFDA. T for time, F for frequency. T for time, I for impact, F for frequency, D for documented workflows, and A for available data. T, how much time it takes. If it takes a couple minutes, it's so we score TI and F on a score of 1 to 5. So if it takes only a couple minutes, it's probably a score of 1 on T. If it takes a couple of days or a couple of hours, it's a 5. Impact in terms of revenue. If it has zero impact, let's say it's just some admin tasks, probably it's a 1. If it's something like that, which is a core service for you, it's probably going to be closer to a 3, 4, maybe even 5, depending on how important it is. You don't need to be exact here. It's just so that you can prioritize, by the way, which tasks to automate and not to automate. It's like relative to other tasks. F frequency, do you do it daily? It's probably a 5. Do you do it once a year? It's probably a 1. Do you do it once a month? It's a 3. So you score these on a score of 1 to 5 each, and then whichever has the highest score has priority for you to automate. Next step is DNA. So you need to have a documented workflow, which is exactly what you gave it. You have already the workflow now. Ideally, you would want to give it like documents of workflows that you have that outline everything step by step. Here we're like doing a very, quick thing to do it. But practically, if we're talking practicality, almost no company has a fully documented workflow. It's usually living in people's head, maybe like the way it's with you. You know how to do it, but maybe it's not like fully
Yeah,
outlined
yeah.
somewhere. And there is available data. These are like examples of maybe previous slides you did or previous work that you've done to do that market research. That way, Claude can copy you and learn from your data. So if
Mm.
you don't have any data or any workflow, that will negate the task from being automated because you cannot teach it something you don't know how to do.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So what format should be?
Okay, so Markdown. So you saw Claude.md, what you were reading. That's
Mm.
Markdown. So you can read it, but it's not ideal. For this one, you can do it Markdown just for now. It's fine. You can read it. It's easy.
Mhm.
Prepare advanced script slide. It's up to you. You can do the recommended one.
No, we can do this.
Yeah, updated local output. It's fine. So now it gave you the plan on the right hand side. So I would advise you to just read it quickly if you want, or slowly. Completely up to you.
Okay. So I read it quickly. I think let's just go ahead, see what it does, and then we can edit if there's something that I don't like. Does that
Yep,
work?
let's do that.
Okay, perfect. So yes and auto accept.
Exactly. So now I wouldn't stay in edit automatically. You can go into auto mode.
And what's the difference between auto edit automatically and auto again?
If you are in edit automatically, anytime it needs to edit a file, anytime it needs to research something on the web, it's gonna ask you to approve. So you're gonna always have to click enter all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna basically think about the action it needs to take and think if it needs your approval or not. Most of the
Okay.
time, it won't need your approval. So it will just, for example, now it's just the two things
Yeah.
that it
The
would
one on
otherwise
top.
ask you for your yeah. So now you
Okay.
have your to-do list. You can so it has the plan. Based on the plan, create a to-do list, and then it's gonna execute that to-do list.
I see. Okay.
It's even gonna update the Cloud MD file structure without you having
Yeah.
to ask it.
Okay. Good to know. Okay.
By the way, you can click on workflows tools just so you can see temp, so you can see like what it's creating.
Mm.
Now it's populating it with dummy data, but then we'll ask it to do an actual run.
Should I install Python?
It's a recommended Python. You already have a Python, so you don't need to. Just put X.
Okay.
If it really needs you to install it, then it will ask you in the chat.
So the competitor market research is built. Okay, perfect. Tested end-to-end summary. What's built? The workflows, which is a reusable SOP. Okay. 9 tools.
Yeah, you don't really need those for now. So it's
Okay.
just telling you what it does
Testing,
basically.
found and fixed 3 bugs. Okay. Live network test. All work against real APIs. No Firecrawl tests yet.
Here you can see it gave you a place to put the API key for Firecrawl. So just paste it here.
On line number 2.
Yeah. And then Command S to save. Perfect. So
Should I
let's
close
see.
it?
Yeah, you can close now. Yeah, let's see what else it needs. Okay. Okay, so now say that you've dropped your API key for Firecrawl and give it simple instructions for one actual real task.
Right, so I'm gonna just paste what I had on top. So I'm gonna say competitors rush, understand obesity they have. I'm not gonna ask it where to go, right?
Yeah, don't
Because
ask her to go because now
yeah.
it needs to know it's where to go itself.
Mm-mm-mm. So I'm saying I need to understand the drugs they have on the market, they have in the pipeline, milestones, any data presented. And should I tell it what I want the slides to look like? No.
No.
And here I told her I want a slide with pipeline and like I can delete all of these,
I mean,
right?
sometimes you might need, like, it depends. Is every output the same for any market research, any company you do?
Sometimes they're not always the same, but
Yeah.
mostly I would say. Should I remove this for
Yeah,
now
you can
though?
remove it and we'll see what it will ask you at the end. Maybe it will
Let's
ask
go
you.
with this.
But these are things you usually want to think through when you're building an AI agent. Like if every output is the same, then you can just program it this way. If it's not the same,
Right.
then you program it in a way where it asks you what you need the final output to be. Like what are the differences compared to the template, and then it will do that for you.
What should I do now? Oh, the headline answer to your original question. Roche does not have a marketed obesity product. They most advanced is that's correct. What's in the draft? Slide 1. Okay, acquisition. Slide 2, 7 pipeline assets. Okay. Actual efficacy from June event. Great. Things worth your judgment call before building the deck. The acquisitions outside the 24-month look back. Find to leave. And then competitor list, keep, remove, prioritize. I mean, if it's already built, we can just keep as is. And then 3, 2 open data gaps, safety. It's fine, we can skip for now.
And tell it to build a PowerPoint. That's fine. It's fine.
Oh, sorry. Fine. So the final is built and verified. And where do I find it?
So ask, oh, it's in deliverables dash client. So basically go to, yeah, but go to your folder,
Where exactly?
the one you created on your desktop.
Okay. Folder,
Deliverables.
deliverables. This
Let's
one?
go back to Cloud Code to see what it said exactly. Clients rush obesity. Okay, yeah.
So this one?
Yeah.
Oops,
And that's the
sorry.
PowerPoint on the
Just
right.
yeah,
The
yeah. I
PowerPoint
just
on
need
the
to
right.
move. I need to move it from my screen.
Ah.
Let's open it. PCT overview summary, activity, M&A licensing, stated strategy, pipeline, MOA, ROA, approval, key
So the
insights.
formatting is bad here because
Yeah, we
of
definitely.
close cutting.
Yeah. I mean, certainly we can give it my formatting and sources. But this is good. I mean, obviously there's not a lot of available information online, so I was quite surprised it pulled all of this. But certainly, if you provide it with more information as to what you already have in terms of material, I'm pretty sure it can even look better. But the fact that I created the slides and it has everything is very good. So I'm quite happy with it. I have to read it. Obviously, I haven't done anything now, but it looks great.
Perfect. So let's say next time you want to do something on your own. Do you think you're confident enough to do it on your own after now?
Yeah, I'm already getting ideas. Maybe we can even create like some sort of like easy to edit, like an interactive, I don't want to say forecast, but like some sort of dashboard where you can like play around with like market events and see impact. So I already have some ideas on what to do. I will give it a go and see if it works.
Awesome. Well, thanks, MT, and we'll see you on the
Thank
next one.
you. See you on the next one. Bye, Karim.